I had a realization that I am not a part of the culture. I'm a observer of the culture and a sort of sometimes a participator in the culture.
And when you first hear that, isn't that hard to hear?
It's hard to hear.
It's hard to hear.
It's very hard to hear.
Because that's not what you thought it was.
Right.
You felt like you were in there.
No, hearing this is like
spade a spade, nigga. My culture is compa and guya.
Hurt me, bro.
No matter how much I love rap, my culture isn't cornbread and ham hocks.
Right.
Even though
I'm
a sauce point nigga.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You was born in Haiti or you was born here?
I'm born
No,
here.
we're born here.
yeah.
But the culture and the foundation of what they stand on has already been laid before we got here, right? So when we come here, we getting the Jordans and we getting the thing, we watching Fresh Prince, and that's us observing the culture and then mimicking the culture to a certain degree. We're not of the culture.
And because we look like them, and
even
because
though
they invite us in and feel like home.
Yeah, even though, bro, this conversation with Chris, good conversation.
So here we go. You know, I've been doing this series and I've been exposing the way that a lot of black immigrants, when they come to America, how they talk down on black Americans. Now, a lot of people don't like me doing this. They make videos about me and say, George, you're wrong. George, you're off code. George, you were a Pan-Africanist. Well, a lot of us grew up and came up through Pan-Africanism, especially on the East Coast corridor. But when we turn around and we start to educate ourselves as we get older with more life experience, we found out that most Africans don't practice Pan-Africanism. They practice pan-culturalism, right? When they come here to make money. That's it. And to separate into their group. Now, old Philadelphia 30 years ago, 35 years ago, when I was a young teenager growing up, you had a lot of Africans and Caribbean folk that came here that did ingratiate themselves into the community. They did come here and become one, right? I grew up with a lot of Jamaicans and Haitians and Trinidadians in Philadelphia, right? And I didn't know that they was Haitians, Jamaicans, and Trinidadians until I went to their family house. They was 10 toes down. They was rocking with us. They wasn't tethers, right? But the government got smart. And to stop the unification of black people and the diaspora, they start letting a lot of coons in the last 20 years. And a lot of these coons start coming into the community and start separating themselves from us and doing for themselves and talking down on us while benefiting from the things that we have established in this country for ourselves. They going to HBCUs. They getting these they was getting DEI and affirmative action jobs based off of what our grandparents fought for, but then had the nerve to turn around and talk down on us. I mean, you ever have a person like Casanat? He comes here and he said that we was uncultured. He said this, remember?
All my who are not cultured at all, stop riding. I don't want to hear, like, when I'm asking general questions, I'm not asking y'all, stop riding. That is black. You're black. You're just black!
Just be yourself and hit them with hey. Also, I just bowed the Anarchy hoodie yesterday. Can't wait finna resubscribe and a little W female viewer. Big 2 months December 9th.
Thank you so much. Bro, you're just fully American. You're African American, bro. That's it! How was that see you in 30? That wasn't an insult. That was strictly, you're black. You're not Trinidadian. You're not Jamaican. You're not African. You're not, word. You're not Ghanaian. You're not Dominican. You're not Puerto Rican. You're not Cuban. You are American.
I farted.
Now, when you live on the East Coast in places like Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, New York City, you have a lot of immigrants, especially a lot of immigrants that come in from the Caribbean. Now, a person like me that's my age, I have a lot of Caribbean friends that are not tethers. They're 10 toes down. They rock with us. They support our reparations claims. You know, they have babies by black American men or black American women, and they are part of the culture, right? They don't talk down on us, but they come and they tell us what other groups say. When they hear us talking our FBA talk and why we want to separate, they agree with us. And they come out and they say, like the same as the brother was saying in the beginning of the video, who has an FBA mom and a Jamaican dad, he was explaining how they talk down. But there's a Haitian sister out there, and she's going in on her own people, right? And she's explaining to black Americans how she actually loves us and how we're the most influential around the world and how other people follow us. Check it out.
If you're African American, to the front, I got something to say. So last year, Kaisanat made a video about African Americans saying that y'all are just black, y'all got no culture, y'all not Jamaican, y'all not Trini, y'all not Cuban, y'all just black Americans. And that video resurfaced this year as he was just at the BET Award, Black Entertainment Television. Right now, a lot of African Americans are upset by that, and here's what I have to say as a Haitian girl. I was born and raised in Haiti. I moved here when I was 11. I remember from my earliest days wanting to be an American girly. No, it wasn't the white, it was definitely the black. When I finally moved to America at 11, I was just like a kid in a candy store. One thing I noticed in school, the school that I went to in Georgia, all the African American kids were so cool. Not only were they so cool, but they weren't to be a large amount of the confidence to stand up for myself from African Americans. The African Americans didn't let nobody bully them, do you understand? And they gave me the cojones to stand up for myself. Not only that, but I also thought that the way that they dressed, the way that they did their hair was just so different and so beautiful. I wanted to do my hair like that. Hold on. I wanted to dress like an African American too. Because let's not act like it's not a thing. It is. And when I learned English, I discovered AAVE from standard English, which that's another video for another day. Because I learned standard English and then I got thrown in the hood and people were saying things like finna. I'm like, what finna? But it was instant for me. I sound stupid in AAVE. But the people who do it, y'all just made English sound sexy. I'm finna go to the stove. I'm not American, so my AAVE don't AAVE. I can literally stand there and listen to a Black American talk all day, especially when they're going off. I don't go, like, yes, sis, you tell them, put belt to ass. And then rhythm blues. Come on now. And I am so ashamed to say this, but because I spent a lot of my time wanting to be a part of American culture, I grew to like American music more than I did my own, and I'm so ashamed to say it. Now it's like a little bit more evened out, but I love rap. I be listening to Gunman Tune, I listen to Sexy Red, I listen to Mariah Carey during Christmas, even the vagabond stuff, like I don't know. Like the things that people consider ghetto or ratchet, I'm just like I don't know, I love the ghetto. I love me my unapologetically Black people. And also soul food, that should honestly speak for itself. African Americans created and carried the culture in America. And not only have they done that successfully, but they're all doing it. I be watching Young, Famous, and African, and I be like, yo, with the budget that y'all have, there's no way y'all wigs is still looking like this in 2025. Somebody get an American on set. I don't feel the same way as Kai as a fellow Caribbean girly. A lot of us don't feel like that. I really wanted to take this time to big up my African American. As I'm sitting here in Black people's America, I don't think my existence here would be possible if it wasn't for all the work that you guys and your ancestors have been doing. So hats off to my African Americans. Anyway, be kind to one another from your favorite Haitian home.
So shout out to this Haitian sister, because these are the Caribbean immigrants that I grew up with in Philly. When I was young in the 80s and the 90s, when you came to West Philly or Southwest Philly, I didn't see Haitians or Jamaican women or men with W people, right? We were in the community together, right? Mr. Clarence or Mr. Watson and, their moms and all that kind of stuff. We lived together. I started seeing a shift around the early 2000s when you had all these groups coming in and they was coming and separating themselves and starting to talk down, right? But you have so many of them, they're all over the place, right? You have these some of these older ones. They were racist against us Black Americans too, but they kept it to themselves, a lot of them, right? Their children that would have been my age came out and they got ingratiated into the culture. That's what that hip hop culture, right? But a lot of their parents was still talking crazy, right? Y'all don't believe me? Look at this.
First, let's talk about what foundational Black Americans are. So the term refers to a concept coined by activist and filmmaker Tariq Nasheed. It's used to describe Black individuals in the United States who are descendants of African people enslaved in the U.S. prior to the abolition of slavery in 1865. Here we go. I want to start off with you, Shelley.
My never to be humble opinion is that this movement is a way to further segregate and divide Black people, give me a second, and have these FBAs use this one as a good separation technique or a good segregation technique. Now, let me say this. I don't give a damn who you associate with, who you want to be called, or what group. I don't really care. But I think this particular issue is a way for, I'm going to say, maybe more conservatives to use as, I'm separating myself because I am a slave or have ancestors that were slaves or whatever. I don't care. Ultimately, I am a foundational Black American. I was born here.
And, a lot of people talk about being separate and all of this other stuff. Well, look, you could do that now. Find yourself an island in the South Pacific and just go be separate. But most people don't even know how to feed themselves without a supermarket. So that's something that would break down very quickly.
Now, these foundational Black Americans, authority, whoever they are, I've never heard of such. And no, you may not claim me in your group, just because I happen to be born an American, right? Born an American with beautifully melanated skin, but American nonetheless, right? We're not going to start dividing ourselves into these little pockets that make it easier for people to take advantage of other people.
And let me tell you something, I'm sick of FBAs, okay?
I'm sick of them too. I'm just sick of people begging all the damn time.
Yeah, you can actually walk down Baltimore and step in human feces, and it's generally from an FBA, okay? So,
but it gets so bad that you have a Jamaican running for office up there in New York City, where FBA sister had to check him because she was basically saying like, yo, I keep telling y'all, everything that we vote for, they vote against. They have to be diametrically opposed to us because our dysfunction, right, is listen, their success in this country, sadly, is predicated on our dysfunction. Now, I will say they didn't create that. That's the way the W man created the system. But they go along with it. They go along with it. Check this out.
Michael Blake.
Like, I am, okay, I'm going to frame my answer based upon our different experiences. As soon as you said that you were a Jamaican American, it immediately let me know your relationship to this country. And so because your relationship to this country is that you were an immigrant and your family wasn't imported through the slave trade, I understand that you're not a descendant.
It's not true. It's not true. Let's just stop there. Don't say anything about my family. I was born in the Bronx. You're about to say some nonsense right now.
Yes, let's not even say the concept of
as a Jamaican American born in the Bronx, let's keep it here.
She's making a point. He is a Jamaican American. I didn't state that. I'm not a Jamaican nothing. I am a freeman. I'm a descendant of chattel slavery. Me, Whitley Janae Gates, my family. There is no Jamaica. There is no Caribbean for me to go back to. So his proclivity and how he sees this country is going to be completely different than someone who is a descendant of chattel slavery. Completely different. So of course he wants more immigrants here. Of course, immigration, specifically illegal immigration, to him, as he stated, is a sign of growth. Of course, he believes that we should be utilizing our tax dollars and our resources to support people who've come over here, who've broken the law to be in this country, because it benefits his family. It benefits the story.
Yo. You can have a policy conversation. I'm gonna say this again. It's the third time your comments have referenced my family. I just want to be real clear. You can have any policy. You can have any policy comment. I'm just saying.
I'm talking about his Jamaican American lineage.
So let's respectfully leave family out of it.
We're only going to talk about his lineage, which is Jamaican American, which is what he has.
But you literally phrased about crime and illegal, and that I supported illegal immigration because we're family. Like, just again, if you want to talk about policies, you do your policies.
Let's just keep it policy then. Let's keep it policy.
I haven't even gotten to crime yet. I'm talking about illegal immigration and utilizing our tax dollars and our resources to fund and support illegal immigrants. I'm not talking about people who came here with papers. I'm talking about illegal immigrants, 11 million that have crossed, 11 million and counting, that have crossed the border since Biden and Harris, and since Harris has been the border czar, has taken over. I'm talking about the resources of tax dollars that have gone from American citizens to support their housing, to support getting them food. I do not believe that we as Americans, specifically Black Americans that are descendants of slavery, should have our tax dollars utilized for illegal immigrants that have come to this country without going through the proper immigration process that we have currently in order, and get our money and get funded and get $9,000+ in Chicago for rent, and be able to get more money in food stamps and SNAP and TANF and all of these benefits, and be able to utilize our tax dollars to get free legal service. That's happening right in Indianapolis, in my own city. Absolutely not. I think it is the first step to making America not a sovereign nation is to bust open our borders like a bag of chips. I think that is completely wrong. 2, I think it's also completely wrong for us to basically, and this is what it feels like.
Now, you heard what the woman said in the first part. The woman said she's tired of FBA. You can walk down the street and step in human feces, and it's from an FBA. She said they also said stop begging. So you already know that conversation wasn't in good faith, because they started to throw daggers. And this is the way that they think about us. This is the way. So, and then when you see the Jamaican guy, when the woman pressed him, he kept talking about, stop talking about my family. No, he was dodging the fact that she was talking about what his immigration policies would be. and how it would cause harm to our community. And he didn't want to deal with that. He was real quiet because he was busted, right? He was busted. And I'm telling you, a lot of these groups, when they come here, the things that we fight for, they fight against, because their quality of life is predicated on our dysfunction. I've been blowing the whistle on this for a very, very, very long time, right? And this is part of the reason why I don't do live streams no more, because I was telling y'all this 8 years ago, and it was going on deaf ears. People wasn't listening to me, right? Now, things is happening full-fledged in front of your face. And I've been telling you that not all, these groups don't care for you, because you have some immigrants that are 10 toes down, as I said, that I'm friends with, right? That do speak out against their community, right? That do call out their community, right? Because like I said, you see the woman, she says, stop begging for stuff. While at the same time, they come here and get DEI hires. They come here, they go to HBCUs. They come here and they benefit from the things that we fought for, but then got the audacity to say you need to stop begging when they can't go to their country and do it, right? But you have people from the Caribbean that's honest, that tell the truth, right? That tell the truth, that's respectful, that actually reveres Black American culture. And they're saying this.
So I'm hearing that the guy who did the live stream with Nicki Minaj, the young guy, Kai Cenat, said that Black Americans have no culture. As a Caribbean girl who's born and raised here in the States, as someone who's traveled to 25 plus countries, baby, you was wrong. Guess whose culture, their customs, the way they dress, the way they talk, the way that the music that they made, like the traditions, are copied all over the world? The hairstyles, I mean the looks. Guess who is copied and admired all over the world? Sit down, baby, be humble, because it's not Trini culture. It's not Haitian culture. It's not South African culture. It's not nobody. It's all Black people. Of all the Black people, Black American culture is the most popular culture. Please stop.
Me, with my mother being an American Black woman and my father being a Jamaican man from Jamaica, I can say that my father's side of the family looked at Black Americans a certain way, and they already had in their mind, whether they said it on social media or not. We could sit here and make it seem like it's an illusion, but all other groups of Black people, which we're all Black, we tend to look down on Black Americans. If you go to, they're like, oh, we come out here and this, that, and and oh, you guys are lazy. Y'all don't do shit. Oh, y'all just on welfare, when Black people are not even the most on welfare. This whole mindset of Black people being lazy when we built America.
All right, immigrants, let's come to the front because I want us to have a conversation. A couple of weeks ago, Kai Cenat made a comment about how supposedly African Americans don't have any culture, and I think it's time we talk. I'm an immigrant myself. I was born in the Caribbean and raised in Europe, and I've been here in the United States, living in the United States since I was about 13 years old. But when I was a little girl, I would come and spend either part of the summer or the entire summer here with different family. And I began noticing like little comments here and there early on, but I think when I was 12 years old, is when I finally began realizing that there's something really messed up on how a lot of immigrants talk about African Americans. And so my father hired day laborers, migrants, to come and help us with the move. And I remember sitting in the back of the pickup truck, and I remember listening to the men talk, the migrants. These were men from South and Central America and the Caribbean. And they were talking about the people in the neighborhood, and they were talking down on the people in the neighborhood. And I was very confused for a number of reasons. So the people in the neighborhood were all African American. As far as the eye could see, all the way down, it was all African Americans. And it was clear that this was like a generational neighborhood. Like it was clear that there had been families that had been here for years and years. And obviously this was not my first time in that neighborhood. Like when they bought the house, we would come and check out the house and like go around the neighborhood and stuff, right? So it was clear that families had been living here, and it was clear that they had built this neighborhood to be what it was. They were the ones that keeping it as nice as it was. And again, nicer houses, bigger houses, etc., etc. And so I was very confused from the sense that A, we had just gotten there. Like literally, we weren't able to afford it before this, and we had just gotten there. And like there was no room for us to talk down on the people that clearly built this. And then on the other hand, the day laborers, the migrants, mind you, this is no classism shit, because I myself was very poor for most of my childhood. My dad had money, and I only experienced money when I would come and visit him. Other than that, I was broke. My mom was broke, we were broke. And so this is no classism shit, but the day laborers, I was also very confused with them, because it was very much like, can you even afford to live here? They built this and they've been here. You can't even afford to live here, and yet you're talking down on them.
So again, you do have some that ride with us, that speak out, right? And they come, they ingratiate themselves into our culture, and they know our culture, our traditions, and how we influence the world. They come and they tell you this. They say, man, listen, I grew up watching African Americans. I followed what African Americans was doing. I followed the trend. I think that some of them have to do a better job in not just understanding our food and our music, but they need to understand our accomplishments and who was A. Philip Randolph and some of our great people of the past, our inventions and all the things that we did in government to get policies established to where Black Americans and other groups that look like us, when they came into this country, they can have a better quality of life. I think they got to do a better job in learning those perspectives. But I respect the fact that they come here and they want to learn the culture. Like those brothers in the very beginning of the video, those brothers from Haiti, they said it. They said the culture, we start following the culture that was laid. We was watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We was wearing the Jordans. We respect what y'all was doing, right? To the point where he said when we started to separate, they couldn't understand until he had to listen. Once he listened, he understood and said, no, this is their culture. They opened up their arms and allowed us into their culture. He understood that hip-hop wasn't his culture. He started naming the music, right? So I respect those brothers for that, because that's all we've been asking, right? But then you got another woman from Haiti that's talking like this.
Compare different things. It's like, really what y'all mad about, like B said, like y'all just don't have no roots. Y'all don't have no history for real. Yeah. The only history that y'all really have is we were slaves and somebody, fixed it for us, and then we back here. I mean, the only history that I really could say y'all physically probably have was probably the time when Martin Luther King and them was here, because I feel like they did a lot more as far as the Black, African American culture for y'all. But other than that, it's like y'all really don't have nothing. Like y'all can't even say like, y'all really don't have no food. Like, yeah, fried chicken and stuff, but white people eat that. You guys are white and Black. Y'all are still Americans. You get what I'm saying? So only the difference that between the African Americans and like Americans that live in the United States is that one's white and one's Black. But y'all honestly came from the same roots. The only thing is y'all was slaves and y'all was manipulated to feel like y'all was so different, but y'all are just the same as both of them. So I just feel like it's more so like, not even that it's beef, it's just hate. It's just not even hate, it's envy.
It's more like educated. People got to be more
educated. And then I also feel like people just are so just ignorant at that. Like, ignorant. Like, Haitians, we were slave at a point, but we wasn't like slaves like how, y'all was on this land.
Yeah, we got our independence.
We kind of did things differently, but I just feel like if we're going to be Black, we need to be Black.
Yep. Now that young lady was able to talk on that panel, and nobody said anything. Nobody checked her on anything. And she was clearly ignorant. Again, she went back to Martin Luther King, and then she said we don't have no culture. Now, she's from Haiti, right? Her ancestors were taking their slaves, and they were separated and broken up and all those kind of things. So if this is the diaspora. If we don't have culture, then you don't have any culture. Right? It's just all a bunch of dumb stuff of miseducation and wanting to have closeness to whiteness, right? Not understand or coming here and not respecting the Black people that actually live here. The only reason why you want to come to America because there was already successful Black people here, right? But there was a conversation on the Joe Budden's podcast last year in regards to FBA and Flip, who was Haitian, right? He was asked, he had said some stuff before where he had to get checked, right? And Joe Budden's, who understands what FBA is, he started to go in and really check a lot of the immigrants for the things that they say, right? And he kind of backed off a little bit because he said he didn't want to get too deep into it, but he said this.
Shout out to you against that, but you've been on that lately. I said, I asked you that. I said, where did that come from out of nowhere? Did your pops talk to you? What the hell happened? Joe just came back like, you know what? Black Americans, we're not getting our respect out of nowhere. I've been here for like 3 years. He wasn't on that. This past year he was.
You got to be on it. You got to be, if you on that, you got to be more vocal about it now because other things are visible and vocal.
Got it. You said that.
Like, there's too many people feeling comfortable getting on stake and some of these other right-wing spots just talking about, yeah, you fucking American blacks, you ain't got no culture, American black. It's becoming a thing, what they're saying about black Americans. It is. But
and it's visible.
Here in America, yeah.
Really?
I'm seeing more of it. I'm seeing more of it. That conversation they having on law, I'm not bringing it up right now because because I'd rather not. But yeah, they every time Kai unlocks a new achievement, there's quiet whispers about it because he's probably the most famous person that has said, y'all black people don't have no culture.
He said that?
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't know
He's not the only person. I'm not trying to highlight him saying it because I really like him. And I think that's just an education thing. Some of these other people, I don't feel that way about. So that's all.
So people real quick, do you feel like when you hear like
you said people have been saying that for a long time? What have they been saying for a long time?
I haven't
that
heard
American
that.
black people, we don't really have a culture because
what?
Yeah.
Well, let me before this spins, because we can't trace our lineage. So like if you take people from Jamaica, or I'm not Jamaica, let's say somebody from Ireland or somebody from Italy or somebody from wherever, they can literally go back to where their ancestors lived. Like you can go to Italy and see your upbringing, your roots. We got stolen. So a lot of us can't necessarily go back to Ghana or go back to Nigeria or go somewhere to find out where our real lineage come from.
Now we can.
That's been a thing for a long time.
Do you question real quick, Joe?
How many years?
He's right.
How many years need to be established for culture to be established?
I would argue.
I go to my family grave site and
That's a
see
great
buttons from 1710.
Really?
I would argue that American.
That's dope.
That's fire.
Everybody can't do that.
So I don't.
That's why it means different for him.
No, I said that's dope.
Yeah,
a lot of people can't do that. That's fire though.
But a lot of all the cultures are coming into Black American, like the Essence Fest, and they're coming in and buying into it. Can I say that? Or
they
buying
steal
and
it.
purchase?
I
don't want to say stealing.
A lot of them steal.
I'm talking about the person that now runs Essence Fest is an African woman. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Well, the
Skinny.
CEO, yeah.
Yeah. So
The owner is as well. Rich Lou.
So
He's Liberian.
No, it has not always been the
That's
case.
what I'm saying.
No, it
so
has not always been the case.
Did they buy into it? That's what I don't know how to
They
phrase
bought
it.
it.
Got it. They bought it. So
from
what I'm saying,
time.
a lot of people are having, a lot of Black Americans are having issue with things like that are transpiring.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like their culture is being taken from them, and like Joe said last time, it's a bunch of flags. I mean, he didn't say it like in a negative way, but just how it looks different, how it's presented different from when it was before.
Mm-hmm.
When Black Americans owned it, it was like this, and then now it's like, you bought into this company, cool, but you're shoving your culture into our face.
And
that's how some people feel.
To the point of Black Americans not having a culture, why can't Black American be a culture?
Black American is a culture.
It's a culture.
I would say as a white, like I'm Irish or whatever, I feel like I'm not really connected to Irish culture because it's so far distant or whatever. Like y'all culture is much more recent than
honestly.
Old European. Like it's
this is my first time.
It's white propaganda.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
what
It
it is.
sound like.
Like just because you build a park over, I mean that Black American is not. It's a
culture. It's
still a culture. Don't get me started. I don't want to start with this.
Yeah. And see, the tenets of Pan-Africanism was supposed to be a unified globalization of Black people unified. We have different cultures, different customs, but we all come together under our Blackness and understand who we are, right, as a people globally. That's what it was supposed to be, right? The funny thing was, as Elder Small said, we were the only ones practicing this. We found out that nobody else is practicing this but us. Maybe some sprinkles of, you know what, let me be fair, because I'm not a liar. Maybe some sprinkles of Jamaicans. When I was growing up, Burning Spear, Black Uhuru, Barrington Levy, Black Roses in My Garden, Sizzler, Buju Banton, they was practicing. I live on the East Coast corridor, so I understand the Naya Bingi drums and all the stuff that they was practicing. Now, I know we got a lot of our FBAs that come and say that we're not Africans, and I respect that and rock with that too, right? When I was growing up, my grandmother told me that we was Native and African, so that's what I rock with. That's me, right? FBAs and lineage, not everybody agree on everything, right? But when we look at this, right, we found out that we were the only ones practicing this form of Pan-Africanism, opening up our arms to everybody and letting loving on everybody, allowing everybody to come in and join the culture, as the Haitians brothers said in the beginning of the video. But when they would come in, with their numbskull, with their noses all up in the air, looking down on us. So now you have a generations of FBAs that's growing up now, and they're tired of it. They're calling it out. They're speaking it out, and they're holding these other groups accountable, and they don't like it. See, it's funny how you can fly your flag, right? You can have your nationality and your culture, but we're not allowed to fly our flags and have ours, right? You allowed to come in right in our house with your Jamaican stuff and all your and we allow you to do it. I love curry chicken. I love oxtails. I love all that kind of stuff. But then when you come in, you fly your flag and you get a win and you separate yourself from us. But now we say, okay, listen, we share our soul food, we share our accomplishments, but we're going to go over here and do this. Oh, you guys are divisive. You guys are hating. You guys are separating. You was already separated. You came here and let me know from the rip. You was Trinidadian. You came here and let me know from the rip. You was from Belize or Panama. You let me know off top that you was already over here and I was separate from you. That's what you did. So now we see it and you say, well, they don't deserve reparations. They're lazy. And we say, oh, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. We just gonna go over here and do our thing. We don't hate y'all. We still, we don't hate y'all, but we gonna go over here and do our thing. Shout out to the brothers and sisters from the Caribbean that tell the truth that I showed in this video. Brothers and sisters on the ground that's 10 toes down, that's telling the truth, that understand what FBA is trying to say, that actually respects and honor us. I respect you guys. You guys are not tethers. Shout out to y'all. But shame on you to the other groups that come here, go to HBCUs. You done slept with some FBA men and women, right? Benefited from our culture, and then turn around and talk down on us. Shame on you. Shame on you. And in your countries, you got the Asians and other groups just dominating y'all in y'all country, and you got the audacity to come here and talk down on us. Man, shame on y'all, man. Shame on y'all. When I was growing up as a Pan-African, one of my favorite countries in the diaspora was Haiti, right? I had some Haitian brothers and sisters. I love the story of the Haitian Revolution and everything. So to hear those Haitian brothers in the beginning talk, thank you. But then to hear that young Haitian woman talk, she's of ignorance, right? We can't do nothing with her. If it's up to me, send her back to Haiti. Send her back to her country and let her figure it out there. But to come here and say that we don't have no culture, shame on you. But I'm going to cut this video short here. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button. Subscribe to Street Media TV. Leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.